welcome back to the Boston Commune. This week's Incredulous installment features commentary from Comrade Scott, Joe, Ellie, and myself. Joe comes flying out the gate with some harsh words for the new administration. We talk debt, defense, DXM, DMX, China, Russia, robots, unions, snails, and I forget the names of multiple people before calling out the Radlibs yet again. Ellie brings us some of Gwyneth's vagina-scented goop before we explode onto the set of Scott's weekly recommendation. So please do us a favor and share this content. Do yourself a favor and enjoy Get Ye Pac.
Make no mistake, there will be a trial, and when that trial ends, senators will have to decide if they believe Donald John Trump incited the election.
The Democrats suck on the minimum wage.
Okay, there you go. That's actually good.
Yeah, you're sounding pretty good.
Absolutely drives me up the wall. Like today, the House and the Senate Democrats came out with legislation for the minimum wage to get to $15 an hour. But it won't reach $15 an hour until 2025. That's 4 years from now. That's not gonna fucking help anybody. What, if they haven't died of the plague 4 years from now? Maybe. And by the time 4 years from now rolls around in 2025, that $15 an hour that was worth $15 an hour in 2021 will not be worth that much money adjusted for inflation. It'll, at best, probably be worth like $14 and like 40 cents. This is the same problem in Massachusetts. 2018, we passed a minimum wage hike to $15 an hour, but we drag it out over 5 years. I mean, for fuck's sake, Massachusetts will hit $15 an hour by 2023. So, for anybody living in Massachusetts, this proposed minimum wage hike is utterly useless. It will do absolutely nothing to help them.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I like how you just... whoa. But I gotta say, though, Joe, I just like how you steamrolled right into the beginning of the show without anybody saying anything. Love it. What is... Yeah, amazing. That shit sucks. It's like the Simpsons say, they can't govern. They don't want to win.
I hope that wasn't sarcastic, because I was...
No, that was real. Like how he just he seamlessly steamrolled into it. It was very good.
Just
like they really they actually don't want to govern. They're making this very obvious. Like Cory Booker was on the floor of the Senate this past weekend, actively making the argument against statehood for DC and Puerto Rico, making the argument that, oh, well, we have more important issues to deal with right now. Subtext, we don't want to govern because if we actually do this, there's no excuse for us not to do anything, because instead of like having a on paper 50-50 majority with it effectively being a moot point because Joe Manchin still exists, we'd have 54 senators and Joe Manchin would no longer be part of the equation. Therefore, we'd have to do something. We don't want to do that, so we have other issues to deal with. It's funny because the Democrats have been making the argument for statehood for DC and Puerto Rico for years, but now that they're in a position to do something about it, and it would give them more power, all of a sudden there are more important things to do. It's not like they haven't been trying to make DC a state since 1993 or anything.
Yeah, they could have handled the Capitol insurrection. I'm putting in 16 quote marks, of course. They could have dealt with that with more... actual integrity, a real, like they could have called in the National Guard or something if DC was a state, whatever.
Or, if DC had control of its own budget, which it doesn't.
Taxation without representation.
Yeah, that's like how this whole shit, like, obviously, like, it was like the revolution was really more about, like, land rights, of course, but, like, at the same time, like, we tell everybody it's all about they were being taxed without representation, and, like, that's what DC is, so it's
so brave.
Really interesting.
I actually really view it as like it was a transition from like a divine monarchy to they were being ruled by this distant monarchy that was like 3,000 miles away to, we're just going to transition to like an oligarchy of like a few rich white guys who just don't want to pay taxes.
Yeah, it was land rights.
That's essentially what it was.
Yeah, it was but my whole point is that it was more over land rights and like representation, but
This is like disturbingly like quintessentially American. Like the real meaning of the phrase, the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Happiness in that phrase actually is a euphemism for property. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. That's what that phrase actually means.
We like to spin this tale that it was about liberty, which is, again, also has to do with property rights. Everything has to do with fucking property rights.
Liberty. The Senate was not a directly elected body until the year 1913. What liberty? The way Congress was set up, the way the structure is set up, the Senate has the vast majority of the power, but the Senate was an unelected body until less than 100 years ago.
Joe, what's next? On the docket.
I find liberals just so exhausting.
Of news.
No, it is news, like in the sense that
I know.
We're not even a full week into this administration, and liberals are already like throwing a hissy fit anytime you call out the Biden administration for doing the really shitty things that they're doing, or like the fact that they aren't doing anything. Like, I got into like a tense argument this week over the fact that the Biden administration's decision to, instead of canceling the student loan debt, which that is absolutely the prerogative to do so because they control the executive branch. The education department is part of the executive branch, and the education department is the creditor for all of the loans, which means they can get rid of it if they so please, if it moves them to do so. But the fact that they aren't doing so is a choice. And by pointing this out, the fact that instead of canceling the debt, they're simply putting the pause button on the interest payments until September 30th. Pointing out the fact that the Democrats have the power to do something better and are choosing not to. The fact that they are not doing something better is a choice. It is not because they can't, it's because they are choosing to. Simply pointing out this fact gets liberals into like a hissy fit. It's amazing. We're 6 days into the administration and it's already like, you can't talk about this because you have upset our God. You like completely upset our entire view of the world.
I've noticed, too, that bringing up anything that happened during the Obama administration...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's bad territory.
For some reason...
I get burned all the time because of that.
He gets all the credit, Obama that is, he gets all the credit for doing all the stuff that was like...
But none of the blame for the drone bombing and the intentionally forcing 9 million people out of their homes to save
all that for some reason, it's like, oh, that's the shit that he didn't have control over that. Or like... oh, well, that was what he had to do, or he inherited that. Like, he's the head of the executive branch, yo.
It's not his fault that we bombed a bunch of weddings in Yemen. It's not his fault that we bombed a bunch of weddings in Yemen, even though, like, he's the commander-in-chief. It wasn't his fault. He had no control over that. He's got the nuclear football. What do you mean it's not his fault?
Motherfucker, what do you mean it's not his fault? Nuclear codes.
Yes, nuclear codes, but yeah, somehow that's not his fault. Our entire foreign policy in the 8 years of his presidency was somehow not his fault.
Even if it wasn't, though, he put those people in office. Like, he was the one who staffed that fucking I forgot what I was talking about.
That administration.
Yeah,
like, he was the one. Him and his lackeys.
Obama enabled those people.
You ran against Hillary Clinton in the primaries. And your main case for why you should be president and not her is that she's too hawkish on foreign policy. And then you turn around, make her the Secretary of State, and be like, well, she can do whatever the fuck she wants now.
Benghazi's not going away.
That's a perfect summation of his entire presidency. And we're going to get that again.
Benghazi's not going away. Oh.
This is probably going to be like what we end up with as a Biden presidency, but we can't even talk about it. Like, without liberals, like, being ready to, like, verbally hit us over the head with a crowbar.
I mean,
we're 6 days into this shit.
And also, Kamala Harris did play, maybe not an active role, but a passive role in suppressing investigations into the financial institutions responsible for the 2008 crash.
In fact, she was so terrible. She was so terrible on mass incarceration when she was the Attorney General of California. The Roberts Court ruled that she was violating the inmates' Eighth Amendment rights by overcrowding the prison system in California. And the ruling in 2011 was that California state prisons have to reduce overcrowding from 200% capacity to 133% capacity. And the fact that this wasn't happening was a violation of the Eighth Amendment rights of everybody in the system. That's how bad she is on these things.
Yeah. Kamala. I mean, I'll say this. Okay, we're 6 days, you say, into the new administration, whenever this comes out, however many days it is. And, he's repealed some of the worst of the Trump executive orders. Of course, it's not enough. But, I've had brunch every day for those 6 days. So as far as I'm concerned, we're doing great. America is at brunch again. Brunch is back on the menu. And that's all I care about.
Like Lloyd Austin this week.
I kid.
This drives me insane. Lloyd Austin. His name wasn't taken off of the board of directors on Raytheon's website until 7 hours after he was confirmed by a 93-2 vote. The guy was still on the board of directors at Raytheon when he got confirmed to be the defense secretary.
Oh, that's good.
That's literally probably like the most unethical thing that any administration has done in my lifetime in terms of like personnel decisions. I can't think of anything worse than that. Like, not even Betsy DeVos like comes close to that.
I have to admit, I did not think that Biden would cancel the XL pipeline.
That is a good thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't turn that into like some snarky joke about how shitty anything is, because that is an objective success. I don't know what will come of it, but...
That was surprisingly decent, but it might have had to do with his pick for Interior Secretary, because I feel like it might have come...
Right, but again, that was a choice.
I feel like the decision was like, either Biden comes out in front of this and like does it himself, or he risks getting into a public feud with his Interior Secretary who...
But again, he chose that Interior Secretary.
It's true.
Like, that was the decision that the Biden administration made. And I think that trying to absolve people of... Like, Stalin doesn't get fucking absolved responsibility from, like, the Ukrainian famine. You know what I mean? Fucking...
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't all his fault, but yes, like, he was the chairman of the fucking Communist Party. So, Stalin bad or whatever.
Speaking of bad, apparently Antony Blinken, who was just confirmed...
Who? What?
He
was not just a fucking name.
He was confirmed Secretary of State either today or yesterday by a 78-22 vote.
Say his name again.
Anthony Blinken.
No.
That's his name.
Anthony Blinken.
Not a real name.
Nod.
Anthony Nod.
They're already taking shots at...
I'm taking shots at that, not a real name.
No, there are, like, the Biden administration's already rhetorically taking shots at China and Russia. It's like, great. We're going to piss off the ascendant global economic superpower in the middle.
Then I align with China, and I'm on war. I'm at war with America and with Andrew Blinken, specifically.
Anthony Blinken, but close enough.
You get fucking brownie points. I don't know if you looked at my Rabid Radlibs, but you just earned yourself some brownie points, sir.
Thank you. But, like, we're already taking... Close enough.
No, it isn't. He meant, fuck you, Joe.
Whatever. Point is, we're already
Andrew Blinken.
I love you.
We're already arguing with, we're already, like, ratcheting up tensions with China. It's like,
Good morning. Sunday morning.
Like, the one thing we shouldn't do right now is piss off the country that has all of the soft power in the Eastern
They have all
Hemisphere.
the fucking water drones and shit. You see those videos of the water drones? They're so impressive.
They have all of the soft power and, like, going for them in the Eastern Hemisphere of the world.
Chinese science is beyond us, too. Like,
our economy shrank at the same percentage their economy grew last year. Like, China's GDP grew 3.4% in 2020. Our economy shrank 3.4% in 2020.
Is economic dominance considered soft power, though?
Well, I was going to get to that.
Okay.
So not only their economy is growing faster, but what I mean by soft power is, like, they are fostering, like, relationships with other sovereign states, meaningful, like, mutually beneficial relationships that they are leveraging into getting more resources in a way that the U.S. can't compete in. Like, they're making deals in Africa with countries that, like, they're extending loans at generous interest rates in exchange for being able to set up Chinese state-run corporations, being able to set up shop in African countries to be able to extract and process natural resources in places like Tanzania and Zimbabwe. Whereas the United States is getting shut out of these places because the United States doesn't have the capacity. Like, the only thing the United States has going for it in that part of the world, for example, is just sheer military brute force.
Yeah, like, we don't have the credibility that China does either.
That's my point. We don't have the China has the credibility that we don't have. All we have is, like, the brute force of, like, the jackboot of our global hegemonic military force.
We got to send another president over there to vomit on the.
So, like, in Africa, for example, China's like fostering all these relationships with countries in Africa, whereas the only, like, leverage the United States has on that continent is AFRICOM, like the military presence we have. we don't have any positive relationships with any country in Africa for the most part because we're too busy bombing half of them. Or it seems like that these days, but it's not half of them, but it seems like that these days.
Joe, did you find my joke funny?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I
know it was the Japanese prime minister. I know.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I was just midpoint, and I just wanted to keep going. But I appreciated the joke.
I was drinking milk, so I couldn't laugh.
Perfect time to tell a joke.
Did you put sriracha in it this time, yeah?
No, darling, I've learned my lesson.
Okay.
What's in it this time, though?
Well, the fun of it this time is that it's very, very close to turning, but it's not there yet. It's still good.
Joe, continue.
So we're losing the race for resources. We're losing the race in terms of global credibility. Furthermore, like the Chinese, they've got the pandemic under control. They're actually now sending out their own version of their own vaccine.
Of the virus?
No, Chinese have come up with their own vaccines.
Conspiracy.
They're sending out their second wave of the virus?
Don't believe it.
But so like
China virus.
So China has the credibility, the resources, and
we do not believe
like everything that like the United States like wants or needs to be able to maintain a global hegemony, and they're deciding to poke the bear. Like this is the dumbest possible thing you could do, but like I guess this is what happens when you have Cold War brain.
Cold War brain.
Because Joe Biden is like a relic of the Cold War in terms of foreign policy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Jack, you gotta hit him. Just smack. Just keep punching them and punching them. And...
He actually said during his inauguration speech, which is like classic, like ornery, confused Joe Biden, "Who says we can't do better things?"
Joe Biden says we can't do better
he does say that, yeah.
I'm fucking president.
And also, like,
Chinese kids taste just as good as rich kids. I mean, what kids? I mean...
I know this is semantics, but, like, it does kind of annoy me a little bit, like, that the Western press keeps referring to, like, Navalny as the opposition leader. Like, the dude's not even an elected politician. He's just a far-right nationalist who happens to be very online that the Western media just loves. If we're splitting hairs about it, the actual leader of the opposition in Russia is the leader of the Communist Party of the Russian Federation, because the Communist Party of the Russian Federation is the second largest party in the parliament. But some random online fascist is, like, recognized by the West as the opposition leader, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean.
It's like the Guaido movement.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, at least Guaido is, like, actually, like, he's an elected politician, and he was the leader of the National Assembly. He was like the equivalent to like the Speaker of the House. At least you can make the argument like, okay, he's the head of like one of the branches of government. This guy's just like basically super fun, happy America guy, but in Russia. He said that.
Who's that guy? Boris? Is it Boris Johnson?
The English guy?
No, sorry. No, fuck.
Yeah,
who's this? So.
That's fucking nice.
I think like,
oh my fucking god, that was like so completely not even close to who I was talking about.
I'm thinking like Boris Nemtsov.
I don't know. He sounds like his mouth is always full. I gotta look this up while you're talking. Continue.
I just find it like it's insane that the Western media is like they're trying to like contort reality and like stretch reality so far and in so many different directions that it ends up like getting to a degree that it's like one of those really like twisted German pretzels or some shit.
Extra twisted German pretzels.
It's a guy who's like on Twitter saying that like Ukrainians are like subhuman. Like who gives a crap if like the Kremlin doesn't like him? Like he's just some dude.
I thought you were gonna say who gives a crap if people think Ukrainians are subhuman. Like, well, Joe, some of us do.
That would be weird if it did. Just a bit.
There's no video of President Trump sucking a ding dong. And so what if it was?
Yep.
Yeah, that's base as fuck. So I didn't hear anything. I just something.
Joe, any more stories?
Yes, Amazon warehouse workers in Bessemer, Alabama will be voting next month on whether or not to form a union. It is the
Oh hell yeah!
strange as it sounds, or surprising as it sounds, is actually the largest attempt so far to form a union of any Amazon workers in the continental United States.
Hell yeah!
You would expect this kind of shit to be happening somewhere in like New York Michigan or California or here, but no, it's in Bessemer. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Bessemer, Alabama. There are about 5,800 people who work at this warehouse. And as of the end of last month, more than 2,000 of those workers signed cards indicating that they would like to have a union election. And the National Labor Relations Board has determined that there was a sufficient interest in unionizing that there will be a
How many employees?
union election. Over 2,000 of the 5,800. Over 2,000 of the 5,800 workers at this particular warehouse have a union card.
Damn, boy, that's a thick ass union.
I said, God damn.
For the record, I was thinking of.
Damn, boy.
Oh,
Damn, boy, he's thick. Boy, that's a thick ass boy. Damn.
All right, go, Jesse. I'm sorry.
The guy I was thinking of was Boris Epstein.
Oh.
Who dat?
He was a political advisor to the Trump administration. He sounds like a fucking.
Sounds like a fuck.
It sounds like he's jogging and like eating at the same time. I'm serious, yo. I'll put a link in the chat.
We're talking about the issues that you emailed to us and tweeted at us about.
Joe, you want to talk about Super Happy Fun Time America? Whatever the fuck. Whatever the shit. White supremacist bullshit.
I honestly haven't been paying that much
It's a
attention.
follow-up to our third episode. Ah!
Oh, throwback.
I don't even know if you were on that episode.
Nobody was fucking listening at that point.
I don't think they were.
I know.
I think it was just me, Scott, Jesse, and Kip who were on that one.
I was not on that. That's right.
Ashley was on that, or Slee was on that one.
Slee as well.
Super happy. Well, either way, one of the guys from Super Happy Fun Time America got arrested, and that's good.
Oh yeah. Shit. We were just talking about how did we already?
The guy-
That episode has a pretty good amount of plays. So
The guy in Malden, right? Or some other guy.
Yeah, he's from Malden.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah,
scroll
that
up.
guy. His name was something.
Something or other. That's
You know. His name
you know the
was
thing with the person.
Just
and
put
the
it back
place.
in the. It just reposted the.
the guy. His name is Mark Sahadi. Sahadi.
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah.
Why does he have like an Arabic fucking name?
I don't know. Maybe he's Arabic.
He's definitely not. Look at it.
President,
Yeah, looking at him.
his Twitter bio says President-elect, American patriot, Army veteran, violator of social media community standards, hashtag WWG1WGA.
I want him to take me. Violate
sorry.
those social
I'm sorry
media terms of
To any of our
service.
Arabic listeners, I just.
We apologize if you are offended. If you
Anyway.
offend the terms of service. Oh, you can hard.
We present to you Scott, our most terminally online co-host.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Scott's like our culture warrior guy.
He is
Yeah.
neck deep in the culture war.
I got a fucking sword. And I strike down my enemies with that sword.
I love all of your Facebook posts that clarify that you've been spending way too much time figuring out what stupid people think about stuff.
What?
I don't know.
Or like
Wait, who made, was that me?
You do that, yeah.
I do that?
or
You're
Scott's
like,
I
everyone
mostly,
thinks-
the only thing I post about on Facebook is that like the online left is a disaster. But okay.
or Scott's
I'm not
tweets
gonna lie,
about like
dude. I
I
don't
am
understand
engaging
your
in the
post most of the time. Like,
or Scott's tweets like I'm engaging in the monoculture.
Yeah,
I,
that's
like,
when
don't-
Well, I think
when
that
you're
was
watching WandaVision, which is like fuck that show. But
your posts are like too like they always have like obscure movie references that I don't understand.
Yeah.
shit, starting to sound like an asshole. Okay, I'll try.
No,
to
dude, I
change
love
this.
you, but you're like
No.
it's like you're too like knowledgeable for dum dum. Like I mean, I'm not.
Dum-dums.
I don't want to call myself like a dum dum, but I mean,
But you just did.
yeah,
You're actually reading theory. That's more than I do. So
yeah.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
pretty. Call yourself a dum dum, Mr. fucking Reformer Revolution going to record 85 hours of original theory for this podcast.
That's true.
Kind of guy.
We're all
looking motherfucking guy.
Smart in our own ways.
Yeah.
Apparently that is what
I used to be smarter. I swear to God.
So if that qualifies you as dumb, what does that make the rest of us?
I was a different man. I think it was like when I overdosed on fucking DXM. Like I've never been the same. I remember I went into school and I was in Spanish class and I almost started crying and I just went to my teacher and I was like, I don't understand Spanish anymore.
Oh no.
She was like, I'm sorry, honey. That's okay.
I don't understand Spanish anymore.
So
I've slowly relearned some of it just through mutual aid because everybody that reaches out to us only speaks Spanish. But Google Translate is probably not as good as a curriculum.
What was your name in Spanish class? Is it Chuy? Jose. There's actual kids named Jesus that my mom sees as patients, and a lot of them go by either Jesse or Chuy, which I think is great. Chuy, Chuy.
For some reason, I could make it call me Juan when I was in elementary school, which just means John. Which is not my name. I don't know why that stuck for so many years. Jose seems like a pretty obvious analog to go with.
Yeah, that's because I was going to say, well, they were just giving you the generic Spanish name, but Jose is also a generic Spanish name. So
yeah,
its English translation is equally generic.
Exactly. Precisely, Joseph.
My boss still can't spell my fucking name right either.
How does he spell it?
Everybody spells it with an I.
What? That's a
Also, my tasteless joke was that X gave it to you too much.
Oh no!
Because DXM.
Oh no!
DMX, yeah.
Fuck taking a drug on your own. X going to deliver to you.
X going to give it to you. He going to give it to you.
Thank you for not being offended.
That song is
I didn't hear you, but I probably wouldn't have been offended if I had.
There is a
X
video.
Gave too much of it to you.
There's a video of a Totoro, some kind of Miyazaki. Some kid dressed up as a Miyazaki spirit. It's a really good costume, and they're dabbing to that song. And if you show that video to me, I'll be incapacitated for about 3 days. Just so you know. Just so you know not to do that. Or do that, as you please. Whatever.
Joe got the vaccine. We should talk about it on the show. Joe, talk about it on the show.
Yeah.
And then we'll go into everybody else's segments.
Yeah, so I got the vaccine this morning. Went to work, badged into the building, had to sign some forms. Showed
Joe, put the pen down.
I don't have a pen in my hand. And then I got stuck in the
Are you building a model airplane?
No.
You're making a lot of noise there. It's okay.
Are you reorganizing your silverware?
No.
Are you playing with a cup on your table? It's fine.
You recently
got the vaccine.
You recently purchased a hamster and you are now gathering the supplies to feed and water it?
No, that would be more interesting. But back to the vaccine. So yeah, I got the vaccine this morning and that's about it. My arm's a bit sore, but other than that, fine.
When you get the second one is when you mutate?
Apparently.
Yeah.
No, that's when they put the microchip in.
Oh.
Well, the microchip is already in.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
I don't think I'm a valuable enough employee for them to waste that kind of expenditure.
Do you know how much money Bill Gates has? Because for some reason he has personally manufactured all the microchips.
I'm a lowly worker bee. They couldn't be bothered to waste that kind of money on me. They can't be bothered.
Something about George Soros.
Globalists.
Jews. Something.
There's no video of President Trump sucking a ding dong. And so what if there was?
Yeah, so what if there was is the best way to follow that up.
Globalists.
Mm-hmm. That is based. Because if he sucks a dick, that's cool. That just means that just means we had might be a closeted bisexual man or homosexual man. I don't know, but
or pansexual.
Yeah.
I feel like they would do
LGBT. I'm down with that shit.
I feel like they would microchip the people who are actually on the Pfizer payroll because I am not directly employed by Pfizer.
Yeah, you're the Pinkerton guy.
Yeah, so that's
you're not employed by the globalists.
That's the main reason I feel like they wouldn't be bothered to go to the effort of microchipping me because I'm not directly on their payroll.
You're too unimportant. That's the way to do it.
So they're wasting money on people that they aren't even actually getting anything out of.
Globalists.
Turning the frogs gay.
Turning the frogs gay. The globalists.
That clip is still the funniest thing. They're turning the frogs gay. It makes me laugh every time.
Wait till you hear about snails, Mr. Jones.
You know, snails are like
adorable.
They taste delicious.
Well, they're like a vector for.
Joe, you've eaten snails?
Well, I've had escargot.
With lots of garlic.
Escargot!
Would not do again.
That's Spanish for it's cargo.
Eating snails up in that shit? That's gross.
They're cute, though. God's right. They're very cute.
Yeah. I like randomly uploaded a video of a snail to YouTube. I hadn't uploaded anything in a while. So.
I think I've seen this video.
That's great.
Well, there's a wall in Brighton that every time it rains, there's like a fucking army of different snails on it.
Hell yeah. You ever seen Uzumaki? That's some fucked up shit.
No.
That's a good movie.
That wall is actually pretty interesting. It's like an enigma. I mean, I've seen snails, but one day there was also like a family of salamanders.
Oh shit.
Like shooting out from the bottom of the wall. It's a very strange place. I don't know what they're feeding those fucking things, but
all sorts of creepy crawlies, slimy
portal
Wimies.
to the creepy crawly dimension.
Well, it's like right between this very ostentatious religious institution and the hospital. So there's must be some like vortex of like fucked up like science and religion like coalescing.
Dude, I know where that is. I used to walk by there
shit.
every day. And I lived in Austin like a million years
Joe,
ago.
what's your opinion on slimy Wimey creepy crawlies?
On what?
God damn it.
Wibbly wobbly, slimy wimey.
What,
creepy
snails?
crawlies, slimy
Wacky
Wimey.
waving, inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Whatever the fuck. Like gross bugs and shit is what I mean.
Indifference?
Have you seen Temple of Doom?
Yes.
The part where they're walking through the fucking and it's all bugs and they have to get out of there?
I hate Snake Doc, I hate him.
In Temple of Doom? Motherfuckers, do you remember the scene?
Yes.
Yeah, it's gross. That shit's gross. Fuck bugs.
We should have a new segment called Trying to Get a Reaction Out of Joe. Trying to figure out how Joe feels about shit. How feeling,
Joe is made of fucking stone.
He is. He's a guardian, a stone guardian.
Black heart.
Joe is like the monolith of indifference.
He is the monolith of indifference.
That's why I rejected your characterization that I was a heartless fuck, because that would imply I had feelings.
So you're just a stone.
You're just a regular fuck.
Yes.
So it's like the end of the Neverending Story 2, where I just have to wish you had a heart and then you died.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fun.
Joe, is that all the news that is fit to print on this audio form?
Yeah, I saw the agitprop that's fit to print.
Oh, goody.
Oh, this girl's doing a cute thing. Do you want the attention?
Shit.
I guess that's news.
Beep, 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 beep.
Dude, it's like pets and shit. That shit's cute. Fucking, you guys got these chonky cats, and I've got nothing.
Nah,
I gotta live vicarious.
Her figure is pretty trim. She's healthy.
Oh, actually, I did forget. I did have one last thing.
Oh, is it about a chonky cat?
No, but it is.
Then I won't allow it.
It is somewhat important.
I object.
I'm just kidding. You can talk about
it. So
sustained. Or what's the other one?
Overruled?
So the National Security Commission on Artificial Intelligence, which is a panel of the U.S. government, came to the conclusion that the United States has a, quote, moral imperative, end quote, to develop artificial intelligence weapons. Apparently.
Skynet, baby! Dun. Wait, no.
Our government has a moral imperative to basically create the Terminator.
Yeah. Dun. That's Terminator. I was doing RoboCop, right?
Wait a second. I need clarity on this. So I know that at the very end of Trump's term, they classified like Cuba and Venezuela as
state-sponsored terror.
State terror or whatever. Is that still in effect?
Yes.
What the fuck, yo?
That's what I'm. That's why I was kind of on a tear about foreign policy, because like we're just basically just amplifying the bad foreign policy decisions that were made in the last presidency. actually, it's worse than that because actually, the Trump administration they put Cuba on the state terrorism list, and then the Biden administration before they even take office. We're not undoing that.
Yeah, what the fuck, yo?
We're not undoing that, and we're not moving. We're not moving the American embassy in Israel out of Jerusalem.
Trump did things that the establishment wanted,
Big
and
surprise.
so they're happy with it.
So yeah, a government-appointed panel sent a draft to Congress saying that the government has a moral imperative to develop autonomous weapons powered by artificial intelligence.
Boston Dynamics.
So yeah,
looking at you.
It's Skynet, and it's gonna be those little guys running around like, they're gonna be stabbing us like in Black Mirror, like
yeah.
Yeah, that's what they would sound like, I'm sure.
It's maximum.
The one that kills me is gonna make that go, yeah.
It'd be like, it's you, Skynet.
Probably.
I use 20 wives.
Are you the one called Scott?
No. Are you the one known as 20
I
wives?
almost said your whole name and doxed you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Want to Rabid the Radlibs or?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's ready. The boy has a light under him.
I am Jesse, and this is Rabid Radlibs.
Whoa.
All right, let me bring the thing up.
Waiting.
What?
We're still waiting.
Hold on,
Yeah.
I
Dog.
know.
We wait sometimes.
I saved it, but I think
Trying to break the silence.
I can open it. I can read it for you.
Song.
Oh shit, where'd it go? Hi, I'm Jesse. It's episode 34, Rabid Radlibs. The piece I'll be covering today. No, later.
We're up to 34. Wow, I lost track.
X gonna give it to ya.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is.
Joe.
I don't know what that was. Anyway,
It's me saying Joe.
Right. So the piece I will be covering today is called Pearls and Chucks, How Kamala Harris is Changing Fashion in Politics. It was authored by WBUR contributor Joanna Weiss.
Now, keep going.
Who has gifted us with other such gems as How RBG Made Old Age Look Cool, What the Lincoln Project ad makers get about voters, and Chasen Buttigieg is winning the 2020 spouse primary. And here is how Pearls and Chucks begins. Yeah, Chasen.
Fuck.
It's not Chasten.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to correct.
Remember that
you.
Instagram post where he's
Close
like,
enough.
this
Sounds
guy.
like a verb. It's like you're chasing.
But do you remember the Instagram post where
I'm pretty sure it is a verb.
where it was a picture of Mr. Pete Buttigieg, and it just says this guy, and it turned out that they were at the Holocaust Memorial.
Fucking Holocaust Memorial.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was funny.
Woo!
Yeah, not a great look.
Wasn't that right around the time the wine cave started to become drift into the discourse?
Anyways.
Anyway.
So here, I'm just going to read
Transportation.
I'm going to read the beginning of that article. Among the many firsts of Inauguration Day, this is the first time anyone has cared about what the vice president is wearing. And maybe that's sexist. And maybe it's a double standard. But think about this. If you've been following Vice President Kamala Harris's fashion choices over the past few weeks and months, you know more about the origin of her trademark pearls and the history of Alpha Kappa Alpha, the black sorority she joined at Howard University. You know that she has a closet full of Converse Chuck Taylor sneakers, which she wore on the campaign trail, making the grueling travel easier while looking effortlessly down to earth. Style is a language through which she can send any number of pointed messages. Consider her fortunate for that. That's as far as I'm going to go with that article. It gets
Where's
worse.
fucking people in Kamala's shoes? Damn it.
Anyway, given this podcast explicitly marks this feminist position and its rejection of gender norms, I'm just going to gloss over the allegation of sexism. Even though we aren't those people who are focusing so intently on Kamala Harris's wardrobe, I'm going to gloss over the allegation of sexism and also point out that this author referenced Ed Markey's Nikes in the same article. So, let's learn some stuff. The Converse brand world headquarters has been a part of Boston's Lovejoy Wharf skyline for the past 6 years. Decades ago, the brand had a near monopoly on athletic shoes, but it would file for bankruptcy and shut down the last of its American factories in 2001, thereby entirely outsourcing production to Asia. Converse's manufactories are located in China, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Pakistan, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. Nike purchased Converse for $309 million in 2003, which is like 400-something million with inflation, and has since been protecting its all-star trademark aesthetic with a barrage of lawsuits against small manufacturers. As for the pearl necklace, a quick Googling of Howard University led me to results from MSNBC, namely a video entitled "Women Honor Kamala Harris by Wearing Pearls." It may be that the media class considers repping your sorority with expensive jewelry a symbolic act of radical progressivism or something along those lines. I'll call it bourgeoisie feminism. So why is any of this important? It's not, really. I don't give a fuck about what Kamala Harris wears. In NA, we have a saying, principles before personalities. And here at the Epoch, we know that money talks. It probably won't surprise the listener that Harris received more money from lawyers and law firms than from any other industry in her bid for president, though I was admittedly a bit surprised to learn that even Donald and Ivanka Trump donated a total of $8,000 to Kamala Harris's campaign for Attorney General. Fun fact. You may also remember that Harris had more billionaire donors in the 2020 primary than any other contender, Buttigieg included. Without any working class representation in our most powerful political institutions, we're left with commodity fetishism, manifested here as our cultural relationship to the Converse brand, a painful juxtaposition to Thomas Sankara's Burkinabe-sourced and woven wardrobe and Ho Chi Minh's single khaki suit, complete with rubber tire sandals. Because we cannot identify with the individuals who claim to represent us, they appeal to our brand loyalty. The effectiveness of this tactic in the American context, sick as it may be, reinforces Marx's assertion that the products of labor, rather than the labor relationships themselves, function as social currency under capitalism. This kind of petty politicking honestly has me stumped sometimes. I feel out of place when critiquing the media class's leveraging of identity politics against the working class, given that I am a white, cis, heterosexual man. I asked my colleague, a man of color, how he would use this podcast as a platform for change, and he emphasized the need for organizing on a municipal level and mobilizing people of color to vote in local elections. This, in addition to narrating on practice for the Marxist menagerie over the weekend, has gotten me thinking about the strengths and weaknesses of dogmatism. On one hand, we must be firm about our beliefs. For instance, we must oppose capitalism in all of its forms. On the other hand, this firmness mustn't restrain us from making tangible progress wherever possible. Angela Davis was correct when, a few months ago, she claimed that the general election was not an effective political arena for radical politics. The problem occurs when we reserve our radicalism for the battles that we cannot win at present, such as the force the vote skirmish. It is also counterproductive to place ourselves on some sort of ideological pedestal above the actually existing socialist projects around the world. We can argue until we are blue in the face about whether or not China can be considered a socialist nation, but we would have to be willfully self-deceptive to not recognize the immensity of its economic progress over the past century. The theory and praxis of our comrades around the world gives me reason to believe that vast systemic change in this nation must begin with the colonized peoples and those who are marginalized and dehumanized by the ruling class. All of our ideological purity will be insufficient to lead us in revolutionary action unless we elevate the people in our communities who have been and continue to be dehumanized and marginalized, though they may not see exactly eye to eye with us on every issue. One could claim, though probably in bad faith, that this places an unnecessary burden on our BIPOC comrades, BIPOC, whatever. But we can remedy this by strengthening our commitment to supporting those comrades in their liberatory struggles. We are not infantilizing our black, queer, and immigrant communities by fighting fascism in the streets, despite any musings of shitlib pundits to the contrary. In conclusion, it is always our responsibility to support one another and to learn from the lived struggle of those around us, so that we may develop a deeper understanding of societal problems, refine our strategies to solve those problems, and work toward our long-term objectives. The working class aesthetic is not enough, nor is the social media rhetoric, nor are the emails to our representatives. I will assert that we must also get involved in local projects, mutual aid, union building, political education, and even electoralism if we expect to make progress in what will be a lifelong struggle for global liberation and classlessness. Fiend.
Jeremy Dore, more like James Exit.
Hey.
Hey.
How long were you thinking?
This guy right here.
This guy.
When you said forced to vote, I basically was like, oh.
Questions, comments, thoughts?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Okay. I definitely had a visceral reaction to the thing of women honoring Kamala by wearing pearls. Like, whatever. That's your job. I don't know. I was also thinking, I was thinking back to the first time that anybody gave a shit what the president was, or the vice president or whatever was wearing, which obviously was Kennedy. And that was a whole big deal. That was a long time ago. And it was a whole different situation. So I don't know.
I could have sworn the whole he's a Catholic was a bit of a bigger deal, but
it was
at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and then they had the debate where on the TV, everybody who watched was the majority of people said that Kennedy won, and then the people who listened to it on the radio
That's right.
said that Nixon won.
Actually, the number of people who listened on the radio is actually about the same as people who watched
They couldn't see Nixon sweating and looking like a Žižek kind of guy. Although Žižek would
all of the American
Nixon is so fucking uptight.
He really was. He was
Žižek is whatever the opposite of that is.
Sloppy boy.
He's a real sloppy boy, yeah.
It's like he can't have a stick up his ass. It's like his asshole is like too big for a stick.
We're talking about a man. We're talking about a man who kept company with people like Henry Kissinger, who also permanently has a stick up his ass. No, that's about Nixon.
I wasn't trying to suggest that Kennedy was like to be revered in any way.
No, I just think everyone seems to like gloss over that. Like that was a big issue back then. And
everyone's like, we went to the moon. Yo,
like
in suits. He wore suits. It was very pretty.
It still annoys me that Henry Kissinger is not dead yet. It still annoys me.
It's incredible.
I've already explained this.
No, it's like.
I know. It was less than like 5 episodes ago. I explained that.
It was reported today that over 100 million people have confirmed COVID cases across the world. The total number of global COVID cases
so there's 100 million people. Cases. Okay.
And not one of them, and Henry Kissinger is not one of them. That is annoying. It just is.
Joe, what have I said? Okay. If you accept the Gnostic interpretation, the evil that men do, the longer they live, okay?
Yeah.
I do, but that just because I accept that doesn't mean it will annoy me any less.
George Bush is gonna fucking live forever.
Yeah, I know.
George Bush is gonna live to 302.
George Bush
is gonna outlive me.
9/11. George Bush was behind. Sorry.
What? Whoa.
I gotta find that for you. It's a girl that I follow.
9/11 was an inside job.
9/11 was the George Bush family.
George Bush.
And the Saudis.
9/11.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever said that on this podcast, but we're well aware that the 9/11 attacks were carried out by Saudis, correct?
And George Bush.
Yes, that is correct.
Who are somehow American allies.
Then they threatened Canada.
Actually,
on Twitter, they just came out and said it. I've been working on this story for a year, and then he just tweets it.
Well, you actually have to go back to the 70s to understand why we
just gotta make sure your baby's okay.
Saudis. But
what about the Saudis? What about the 70s and the Saudis?
The Saudis.
It has to do with OPEC.
What about OPEC?
Every single relationship the United States has with any nation is founded on fucking oil.
Well, because Saudi Arabia, because when you're not wrong, but
the oil sold.
I'm going into detail about what I was saying in case people don't know what happened. And so you have these resource-rich countries in the global periphery who came together. Yeah, I know. They came together and they were like, we want better terms in the global financial order, and until our terms are met, we are just cutting off the oil flow to the core, the rich countries of the world. We are just not going to sell any of the countries in the core of the global order. We're not going to sell them any oil. And
And you can't touch our orb thing.
Oh, do that orb.
And so the United States found the weak link in.
Joe, were you orb pilled?
Saudi Arabia was the weak link, and that caused the OPEC countries' solidarity in refusing to sell oil to the United States or the European Union, caused the whole thing to fall apart. Or actually, at the time, it was known as the European Economic Community, if I remember correctly.
I'm so sorry that Joe has all the information.
Yeah.
We just
yeah. We're just inserting ourselves between
just
Joe
in the background,
You love it, folks. More interesting. You love it.
It makes my history lessons more entertaining.
This rules. All right.
It's like I'm teaching a history class, but with with an interesting PowerPoint presentation.
I mean, I'm trying. Yeah, whatever. I gotta have license to go up a little bit because I'm trying to keep things up. Anyways, it's fine. Do we have some shit? Can't make up?
Oh, do we? Yeah, let me grab that.
You can make this shit up with Comrade.
Joe, make up some shit right now.
No, he can't make it
I
up.
have to do it.
I just said make something up. Just make up a story right now. Henry Kissinger is dead.
He died, folks.
We'd have to throw a party for that.
Like a dog.
like a dog. Yeah.
He died like a coward. Well, that's not Trump at all.
I don't know. Dead Kennedy's reanimated corpse slaps Joe Biden in the face for
Oh my God, we're talking about Gwyneth Paltrow.
I actually know about this story, and
You do? Okay.
I would love to hear it again.
That's wonderful. Yep. It was pretty good one this week.
Joe, what's your opinion on Gwyneth Paltrow?
I don't know.
That's the proper opinion to have.
Yeah. Gwyneth Paltrow is kind of the poster girl for everything that is wrong with the culture of the state that I came from. She's at this.
I like her in Contagion when they pull off her scalp. That's my favorite part.
That's right. Sometimes I forget she's actually an actress, and she's actually probably pretty good at acting. So that's nice. Good for her. In other news, she has this brand.
Hopefully, good at something.
In other news,
she has this brand called Goop, where she sells things that Alex Jones also sells.
It's put inside of your body in various ways.
One of the things that she sold, which is a separate link that I'll put right here, is a candle called
There's
This
no
Smells
video
Like
of
My
President Trump
Vagina.
sucking a ding dong. And so what if they're what?
Does it say bougie parfumé on it?
It's exactly what it says. She's not even. They're just owning it. It's a.
It smells like my vagina.
This candle costs $75, and it smells like her vagina, I guess.
Oh
no! It says with a funny.
I'm still hung up on the fact that someone would spend $75 on a candle.
Yes, that is part of the stuff you can't make up. And the product details on this candle are with a funny, gorgeous, sexy, and beautifully unexpected scent. This candle is made with geranium, citrusy bergamot, and cedar absolutes, juxtaposed with damask rose and ambrette seed to put us in mind of fantasy, seduction, and a sophisticated warmth.
With a tantalizing hint of rich pussy.
It sounds pretty vaginal, yeah. So anyway, some lady in North London of the UK, Jodie Thompson is her name, and I'm afraid that I'm going to end up trying to do a North London accent and failing very badly, so I might just not do that. But I might do it, I don't know.
I don't think we've talked about enough about the headline of the first one. The candle reportedly exploded.
Starting a quote inferno.
We'll get there, Joe.
We'll get there.
In a women's living room.
We're just warming up, so to speak.
Oh, boy.
We're just lighting the wick.
Yeah, baby. So, and the great thing is
that... This is a weird one, isn't it?
This is a good one because Vanity Fair stole this.
Yeah, any weirder than the ball fucking bath? What do you want, Joe?
The testicles. We can never outdo that, I don't think, but hopefully this will come close. I don't know. So I guess the original story was in The Sun, which is like a horrible tabloid newspaper in London in the UK, and
that's my names.
Yeah, that's where the story appeared originally, and then Vanity Fair grabbed it. So Jodie Thompson said she won this candle, the anatomically inspired home good, in an online quiz. So she didn't pay $75 for it. That's nice. But when she went to light it, quote, candle exploded and emitted huge flames with bits flying everywhere. I've never seen anything like it. The whole thing was ablaze. It was too hot to touch. There was an inferno in the room. And eventually she and her partner... She and her partner, David Snow, eventually got it under control and threw it out the front door. But it sounds like she acknowledges
almost
that now...
died. Sounds like she almost died.
She almost died, but
lit
she
a
says
vagina candle.
Looking back, it's funny.
Death by strange smell candle.
Funny that Gwyneth's vagina candle exploded in my living room. Probably she can hang, like she could be on this podcast. I think that's pretty cool.
Remember when Vincent Gallo was trying to sell his sperm?
I do remember that.
Like a decade ago. Yeah.
I don't even know who that is, but okay.
He's a director. He directed Buffalo 66 and the Brown Bunny.
He's a director. I think it's great that Gwyneth is comfortable
Fuck you guys.
selling...
Kidding.
Oh, he was the guy that did like the Brown Bunny or something, right?
Yeah, and he cursed Ebert to get cancer.
Oh.
He cursed Roger Ebert's colon after he gave him a bad review for the Brown Bunny.
And then Roger Ebert got cancer, didn't he?
Yeah, but he got like cancer in like
not his colon.
Yeah, it was in like his jaw. So
to the depths, to the seventh layer of hell.
He essentially got like gum cancer, really.
I don't know. Gum cancer.
Yeah, he got cancer. Well, yeah, he disliked
cancer.
David Lynch's movies for like the first half of David Lynch's career, so he had a dumb cancer then. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, anyway, you too can own a $75 candle that smells like Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina, and
woo,
that's good for you.
Joe,
I
you want to
guess.
go in on that? You want to split? You pay like $40, and I'll pay.
See, this is
the
what
rest.
we need Patreon
Or whatever the rest
for, so we can get one of these fucking things. Please don't
Yes,
take that
give us
seriously.
your money.
If you were thinking about donating to Patreon, don't. That was a joke. Don't.
Did you make your house smell like a bunch of like ripe pussy?
We will add a third tier of the Patreon, which is you buy us one of these candles, and then
Now that's definitely that's a house you can walk into and definitely be able to say there's horse in this house.
That's hilarious.
I think I'm gonna need a bucket and a mop.
Bucket and a mop.
Bucket and a mop.
Joe,
Oh,
are you
God.
a certified freak 7 days a week?
Wet ass P word.
I gotta know, Joe. Answer the question.
Oh God.
I don't know? Question mark?
P word.
I have brought you this content, even though as a transmasculine person, I have some pretty strained relationships with my own parts. But Chava doesn't.
Hey, don't we all?
so
Don't we all? I mean,
don't we all?
I
Wet ass P word.
Yeah, Joe, talk about your insecurities.
Oh, wait. Update. So I feel like I kind of owe Manscaped a little bit of like an apology. I made it sound like they really don't follow through on their promise for helping men groom their testes and whatnot into a work of art. They sent me a whole other fucking charging station and the unit itself for free. So
Wait,
I didn't
like
even
after
Wait,
you
what?
complained on the show?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, nice! We've got our first corporate response, and I'm so glad that it's that one.
It wasn't like they listened to the show. It was
Oh.
like
Well, I thought maybe you sent them the episode or something. It was just a coincidence.
We owned the man.
They reached out to me
Please
with
leave a
an
message
email.
after the beep.
They reached out to me because like I didn't renew my
You display this as a trophy?
subscription service, and I was
Okay.
like, hell nah, because you guys left my balls high and dry, and they were like, oh well, we don't want our
Damn.
customers' balls to be left out, so they. sent
I
me
thought
a
it was
thing.
the jacuzzi for a second you were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No, that was a metaphor, high and dry. My balls are below my belly button. Like,
Joe, let's go half in on a jacuzzi.
They're supposed to be. You
can have it on the weekend. And then you can
relations.
Joe, what's a good movie that you like? Motherfucker.
Monolith of fucking Indifference over here.
I was gonna get a Joe exclusive for the week, but no. We love you.
All I do is sleep and try to take more naps.
Sleep.
I work and I try to take naps. That's about it.
I do.
I like our energy tonight. This is nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe, why are you always so perplexed by everything?
I'm not.
Comrade Scott tells you what to watch.
I love it. Actually, I'm just gonna subscribe. What the fuck? I'm gonna recommend Contagion. If you want to watch,
I'm going to subscribe. That's what you're gonna do.
You're gonna watch Gwyneth Paltrow get her scalp taken off during a surgery, and then they take her fucking brain out and they weigh it. It's gross. It's great. It's Contagion.
Woo!
You know that scene from Silent Hill where the
this is like the time that Scott said that that is great without any context.
Did Scott say that?
Yeah, he was talking about it's great to see the politics of without elaborating.
Oh, that's not is great, Joe. Like a younger brother, Joe is there to misremember all of the most outrageous things you've ever said out of context.
To be loose, I think we lost Scott.
Oh no.
I'm still there. I heard what Joe said.
just chewing on it for a little bit. Anyway.
And kind of said it sounds like something I might have said, so.
That's true.
But it would have been in context and it would have been a joke and shit. Fucking Joe, you fucking fuck. Listen to the show. Take notes, take details.
That's true. That's why I don't believe Joe. Joe doesn't actually listen to the
notes.
fucking
I actually do listen.
But he has an eidetic memory or something. Semi-eidetic
just
memory.
Joking.
I don't believe that either. Joe, what did you eat for breakfast?
I actually I didn't really have breakfast. It was closer to a brunch.
Dude, it
was closer to a brunch.
No, you're another one of those people.
It's because
Joe literally
went
out to brunch.
No, it's because the first food I had didn't come until about noon because I got up at
are you a freak
10
who skips
o'clock.
breakfast?
No, it's because I got up at 10 o'clock. I got vaccinated at 11, and
that didn't answer my question. Do you skip breakfast? Yes or no?
No, not intentionally.
Okay, good. Okay.
I just get up later in the morning.
The people who skip breakfast who are weird to me. So sorry.
So do you consider breakfast if your first meal of the day is after noon, after 12 p.m.?
That's lunch. You've already gotten up and you've done things.
I have a cigarette for breakfast. Does that count?
But I had some hash browns, a bacon, egg, and cheese, and a coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. That was breakfast.
Fancy boy. What are we talking about, guys?
Boy.
Well, you asked me what I had for breakfast.
All right, let's move on.
Let's go get some brunch, boys.
You asked and I answered.
Let's go get some fucking brunch. So, Joe, or everyone, we feel good under Joe Biden, president. Woo!
Everything is better now. Everything is fixed.
So much better.
You guys want to hear about fucking?
It's depressing to share a first name with him.
Yeah, right.
And a last name with him. And I'm just kidding.
I'm apparently
2025 already.
Just go into hypersleep for 4 years. Yeah.
All right, Ellie, you were saying?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, my unconscious self, which because I'm a system is many parts, is apparently so relieved that Trump is gone that I think Scott knows this. I actually had a new alter come out the other night for the first time, and she's 14, which is weird.
That's young.
Yeah, no, she just kind of flits in and out. I've only seen her like once since then, I think, but she's actually kind of funny. She's scared of a lot of stuff, but she's clever and she's very observant, and she has been spared a lot of the worst trauma that I have been through happened when I was like 19 and older. So she's been preserved from that. And she is like pretty timid. Like she was out and either I or Chava was trying to like get her to try standing up on our radiator to like reach something that was up high. And she was like, no, I don't want to do it. I was like, come on, do it. And Chava was like, don't make her do it. She's funny. One of the wigs I got at the sex store she seemed to like it. So it's her wig, and braided it into the little braids that I used to wear when I was 14 and in high school. And yeah, her name is Lydia, which I think is partially because that year, 9th grade, I was Lydia from Beetlejuice for Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember being at the Halloween dance and dancing with this one guy who I think now is a professional ballerina. And like, I didn't want to admit it to myself at the time, but he was like very hot. And he was like, so you're like Winona Ryder from Beetlejuice. And I hadn't seen the movie in a while, I think. So I didn't realize that Winona Ryder was the actress that he was referring to. And I was like, no, I'm Lydia. I think that's why that's her name. Or it may have something, I don't know. I've also known like a Lydia who's in DSA for a while who was really cool, and that may have had something to do with it. Anyway, that's system story time.
You know how like neo-Nazis, or no, not neo-Nazis.
Direction?
Hold on. Sorry, I like combine both parts of the sentence together. So you know how like climate deniers, like they compare the image of whoever the fuck that, like, oh my god, who's the climate girl?
Greta Thunberg?
Yeah, Greta, whatever.
Oh yes.
They compare her to like Nazi propaganda, but like she also looks just like the Russian snipers that killed the Nazis. So
why do they compare her to? I don't care. Never mind.
I explained this very poorly. I was talking about the Aryan girls with little braids. Because George Soros and stuff. Duh.
George Soros.
Yeah, dude. Don't you get your Soros checks?
No.
I got Soros checks.
Yeah, we got our Soros checks for going to the demonstration on one. You left too early before they dispensed the checks.
Shit.
What?
You left before they dispensed the Soros checks.
Oh no. Yeah. It was cold and I was cold. It was cold. Chava should not have put those clothes on us.
Chava was wearing, I don't know what fucking season she was dressing for, but
yeah, you guys didn't see what was under the jacket. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Also, the hat blew off. I was wearing a hat at some point.
Oh shit, that hat! I was walking to work 2 days ago. I missed my stop, and I had to walk from North Station.
Yeah,
and my hat blew off my head. Like it was like it exploded out of a fucking cannon. It was unbelievable, but because it's a flat brim, it just landed like plopped down on the street and didn't move. I was very lucky.
That's good.
I don't know. That's probably the dumbest story I've ever told, but.
It's a good story.
We'll just put some fun sound effects behind it, some fun music.
Yeah, some wonky.
Plopped out on the street and it didn't move. Wait, but you got your check from going to the GM, right? Though, Ellie?
Me?
Yeah, you got your Soros check for going to the GM, right?
No, nobody gave me any checks.
What are you talking? How are you not getting your Soros checks? How are you not getting them?
I don't know, baby.
We go for going to demonstrations, and we and for being in DSA, we get them every time.
You know what it is? It's probably because you didn't file your taxes. You didn't do direct deposit.
But I did. But I did though. Yeah.
That's very strange.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a check last time that they, I got a stimulus check the first time.
You got a Soros check.
I mean a Soros check.
Yeah, a Soros check.
Yeah. Joe, you're rolling in the Soros dough right now.
Yeah,
right?
I got one the first time.
For all of the news you bring to the podcast, you must be rolling in the Soros dough, right, Joe?
Yeah.
I wish I was.
Just fucking don't break the illusion.
He's not.
or at the very least, I'm not
Monolith
really enough of it.
Of Indifference.
Joe is not privy to the Soros checks.
I choose to take that as a compliment.
Well, Joe wasn't at the demo. That's why.
That's right.
I choose to take the term moniker of indifference.
Bit has gone on for like...
Joe.
I'm tired, okay?
Yeah, I know. It's okay, baby. Why don't you let the people know who you are? Why don't you let the people know who you are?
Okay, that was a little weird.
Why don't you let the people know who you are?
Well, if you would shut up long enough for me to get to that, I would. I am Joe. I am here. You can find me on the internet sometimes when I'm not trying to take a nap.
At JLFB96.
Correct.
That's
on Twitch.
That's right.
Huge Janus.
Huge Janus. Yep.
Janus.
That's me. I have many names. I'm like Gandalf. Today I'm Ellie. This is Ellie, rather. I use they, them pronouns. You can't find me. At least I really hope you can't. I just deleted my old Twitter account, so don't come looking for me there.
Really impressive how shitty it is.
It was pretty damn shitty. That's right.
I know you had a
Jesse, go.
Twitter.
Yeah, it's because I don't fucking use it. Anyway, Jesse, go.
Jesse, you can find me. Well, you can find my music at soundcloud.com/contingentsboston.
Yeah.
Fuck, I really need to put new music up. Please visit comrade-rosie.org, click getting involved, pick one of our mutual aid groups to donate time and or money to, because people need your help real bad. Love ya.
I need it real bad, folks.
They need it real bad, folks.
I'm Scott. You can find me on Instagram at SweatyWife, on Twitter at Death Mullet. I'm also on SoundCloud and Bandcamp at SweatyWife.
Sweaty Mullet.
You can find you can find the show on Instagram and on Twitter at Epic Incredulity, but more importantly, we're on Patreon. Sign up for those extra special content we call the Bad Signal, where we get really emotional and we get really, really open about ourselves.
We're long stories about people you don't know, but it's actually cool.
And it's cool.
They're very wholesome.
And I put
it's like a journey.
I put effects on. It's fun. We don't have one this week, and that's all right. But you should sign up to our Patreon.
We don't need one this week.
We're also on Facebook and YouTube, but we don't need to do those things this week.
No, we do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. I mean, we definitely do it for us too. We have
mostly for us,
but for you also. You get to benefit from our joy.
Joe,
and
what's your favorite?
Clinical depression, probably, but that's neither here nor there.
And also get involved with your local organizing effort, be it housing or unionizing or whatever.
Labor stuff.
Mutual aid labor.
And actually, you can join the
kiss your comrades.
Yeah, join the DSA. Even Jesse likes it now.
Like, it's not as lame as it used to be.
What the fuck happened?
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, why do you like it all of a sudden? This is very confusing.
It's not all of a sudden. It's like when I realized.
It feels like it is.
Well, it's after I realized like how many communists are in this chapter. Like the Boston DSA chapter it's not like the shit show that at National. Like most of us are pretty legit.
Well, that's how labor unions typically work. At least it's very similar to it. Like the local union is great and National sucks ass.
Yeah, so join your fucking local DSA chapter. There's probably a lot of communists and anarchists that want to tear shit up.
Yeah, why not? Do it. Try it.
And that's your what for the week?
And that's your epoch for the week. Yeah. Become a communist. Maybe you'll get your dick sucked. I'm kidding.
Stay tuned for more content where we will have a new segment called Joe, What's Your Favorite Blank?
Yeah, I was going to ask a question, Joe. What's your favorite 80s punk band?
I don't have one.
I know. I knew that was going to be the answer.
Is a terrible decade.
Whoa.
Oh.
I'm a
See, okay. No. not saying every movie, but like most.
No, yeah, I'm only thinking of these specifically. I don't know about like Labyrinth. I don't love Labyrinth as much as everyone else does. But it was a thing, and it affected a lot of people, I guess.
Did you
I don't
put
know.
the mic in your mouth?
Yeah.
Are you asking me to do that, or are you asking
No,
me
did
to
you?
Did I?
You're like 5.
No.
They're asking if you have. Because
I'm just holding it very close to my mouth. Here, I'll back up a little bit.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. I made you laugh. Anyway, I haven't seen The Last Unicorn because it was too traumatic for me the first time, and I've never gone back. But, you know.
I don't know if I've seen The Last Unicorn.
What am I thinking of the guy with the Falcor? And
We should do some Patreon shows, some Patreon episodes of our movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you fucking do that?
All right. Whoa, Jesus.
Yeah, I will do that with you.
We'll pick out some time to do it. Jeez.
Yeah.
All right.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
As we said on a recent Bottom Line with Boris.